With the Africa Communications Week in South Africa, what are you hoping to achieve? Nelisa, I'll start with you.
So the intention with the week is to gather communicators and the media across the different sectors in government and private sector, so that we can come together and reflect on our role and our contribution to shaping the narrative in the continent, and to come up with practical ways in which we can actively collaborate together and lead stories that have to do with the continent, and in line with the AU's declaration of this year as a year of arts and heritage, so that we can also use that as a way to position the continent, so that we are the ones who are telling the stories instead of referencing Western media.
If I may, Jane, this is Buhle Matulini here. Very good morning to you guys. So, of course, you are the CEO of Freedom Park, and Unelisa, she speaks of telling the story. How important is it for us to tell the stories through places such as Freedom Park?
Good morning, and thank you. I think it is very important to tell the story, because through communication, through telling the story, you are able to get assistance if you need help. You are able to express what you want in terms of the challenges. But through telling the story, you can also bring people together. And for us as Freedom Park, we tell the story of the triumph of the human spirit, the celebration of our freedom. And we tell the story that our freedom was not free, and therefore we need to cherish it. We need to continue to communicate, because it was through telling this story that the world came together and assisted us, especially also our continent, because you know that a lot of our people were assisted within the continent. So storytelling is very important, and also there are various modes of communication and telling these stories, and I think for us that is why it is very important. But through telling the story, you express your freedom as well.
Nelisa, with expressing freedom being an imperative part, I know that the theme is changing perceptions on Africa, saving lives and saving livelihoods. What is it so important about changing the perceptions of the continent and perhaps bringing to the foreground some of the misconceptions about Africa?
So I think one of the biggest ones is the fact that, the continent, our response to the pandemic, for example, the coronavirus pandemic, was quite quick. We had quite a few successes in the beginning of the pandemic. So those are the stories that we need to be able to tell. And as we prepare to roll out vaccines across the continent, we also need to lead. We also need to lead the storytelling in front. And also, it's important for us to also keep reminding Africans, each other, the fact that we have managed to wage other pandemics before, and we've been successful. We can look at the example of Ebola in the DRC. Communication was very successful in ensuring that that country gets in front of that pandemic. So from that perspective, it's important that we are the ones we look in. And that's one of the biggest aspects of Communications Week, is to bring us together so that we can reflect on what we've done up to now, and so that we ensure we work together going forward.
Jane, what can we expect from the Communications Week that will be taking place as of tomorrow? And also, I understand that people can physically attend, and those that can't can be live streamed. Can you just talk to the details surrounding that as well?
Yes, I think we have a jam-packed program starting tomorrow at 10 o'clock, where we will have the opening event, and we will have a panel discussions. And as Nelisa said, some of the topics for discussion is around the vaccine rollout, but also looking at the role of media as a tool for development, particularly looking at our continent. So from Monday, it will be panel discussions as a form of an opening ceremony. the 25th, which is the main Africa Day event, we have a series of activities, which is both interactive, physical, and also virtual. We'll start very early in the morning with the drumming at Freedom Park at Isivivane, and then there will be a series of activities. We'll listen to the main message from the president, and in the afternoon we have a webinar which we have also partnered with UNISA, and some of the key speakers include Professor Horace Campbell, Professor Patrick Lumumba, Professor Mcebisi Dletlana, and Professor Meiwa from UNISA. So it's a very jam-packed program, and from Wednesday we will have media workshops, and again on Thursday Thursday will be mainly virtual, but up to Wednesday it will be a dual event where we'll have about 60 people who will attend physically, and the rest of the participants will connect virtually. So it's very jam-packed. It's a lot of series and activities. It's workshops, it's webinars, and it's a lot of celebration and panels and workshops. SANEF is also part of us, and they will be joining us from Monday until the end.
Fantastic. It sounds like a really exciting lineup. All eyes on a really important part of, understanding the continent and getting some insight on where we are standing. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, speaking to the Africa Communications Week in South Africa, starting from tomorrow, Nelisa Ngulana and CEO at Freedom Park, Jane Mofumadi, giving us some of the exciting elements to the week ahead.